didn't stream?
No, I was farming cloth at Bloodhoof Village with some dude, so I thought it seems a bit silly streaming it, so... Yeah, I didn't get off until about half three this morning.
Oh, so you've just overtaken me by miles on level.
No, not at all, dude. That's what I'm saying. I was saying earlier, I didn't want to get in front of you. So, where I'm farming, I get virtually no experience, mate. But what I do get is absolute shit tons of silk cloth, which is what I need for my tailoring.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's kind of, you know, it means I've got something to do when you're not there, and also I'm not racing in front. I might be at a couple of levels in front of you, dude, because obviously I can't put the brakes on completely as such. What are you?
What am I? 37. What are you?
Well, I've only gone up a level farming, but I am level 41.
Oh.
But that would have been yesterday when you went off, not last night. Because I carried on doing instance runs. But I've still got all the instances open. No, we'll be alright. I've still got them all, dude. I've just checked. I was literally, every question you've just put to me, I was literally talking about it in stream sort of about 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, I just got back to my dad's, so I'm comfortable, got my own room, no one talking.
I basically met a chap who's got apparently there's a bit of an issue with silk cloth on this server.
Yeah.
And basically he knew a spot to farm it, which is where I am, a place called Blackhoof Village. It was a nightmare for me to get to originally.
Yeah.
Oh shit, just leave the queue. And all I needed to do was basically just follow him around, help him do a little bit of DPS and healing him in this village. And he must have got something like about 40 plus stacks of silk cloth for his tailor. Yeah, and then I carried on doing it after he'd gone. Because what he was doing, he was basically paying me, get a load of this, for working with him. For every stack of silk cloth, 10 gold he gave to me.
Really?
Yeah. And then what I did, I carried on farming it solo after he'd gone, and I was putting them up on the auction house for between 20 and 30 gold per stack, and as fast as I could put them up, someone was buying it.
So how much gold you got now?
Nearly 8,500 gold.
8,500? I've got like 50.
Well, don't worry, you can have some, mate. It's not a problem. I couldn't pass it up, dude. I just couldn't pass it up. Don't forget, that wasn't all silk, though. Another thing, I've also been levelling up my tailoring and enchanting. And what I noticed was, it looks like it's quite a small server, which means some people are putting things on the auction house at prices which are vastly out of whack with what would appear to be the going rate. So I, for example, was buying up loads of vision dust, strange dusts, mystic essences and things like that at what was quite a reduced value, in 1s and 2s maybe, and then putting them on as max stacks of 10 for something ridiculous like 100 gold. And again, just going, mate. I could guarantee like within an hour they'd be gone.
That's ridiculous.
It is. It's so easy to make money on this server, dude. I just don't think there's... I was talking in chat earlier, I think there's one or two things going on. Either the server is absolutely empty, or everyone is a high level and no one's playing low level alts, which means the low level stuff that you need to get your tailoring and enchanting up, for example, no one's farming it. So no one's farming, for example, silk cloth, because it's not worth anything on any other server, at least from what I remember. But to be able to get 30 gold for a stack of silk cloth is fucking ridiculous. Having said that, Ben, maybe I think I'm onto a good thing, and actually that's the way WoW is now. But I'm sure I used to buy stacks of silk cloth for like a gold piece when I used to play. Maybe prices are just, you know, totally out of whack like they are on Diablo 3. I mean, you can spend like over 2 billion gold on an item in Diablo 3, and it's not a particularly huge amount of money, do you know what I mean?
Really? 2
Oh
billion?
yeah. Oh, the prices in Diablo 3 are ridiculous, mate. I had like $500 million gold, and I was considered to be relatively poor in that game. It's absolutely ludicrous. The interesting thing is, mate, gold doesn't make you any better in this game. So it's quite interesting in a way. I mean, for example, there's no gear in the auction house whatsoever that is an upgrade to what I've got from instance runs. Not
Yeah.
one single item. Not one. The only thing I did buy was a glyph. And let me tell you how awesome this glyph is. It's almost, like I said, they don't really make that much difference. It's a major glyph. I think it cost me about 17 gold, I think it was. All it does is your smite spell inflicts an additional 20% damage against targets afflicted by holy fire, but that additional damage does not get transferred by atonement. So in other words, it's a little DPS boost on a spell that's got like a 2.5 second cast time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In fact, no, that's a lie. It's not 2.5 seconds. It is 1.48 seconds. Instead of like doing about 280 damage, I'm sort of doing about 300 damage. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I say. Yes, they do make a difference, but to be honest, it's it's not going to make a huge difference. But yeah, silk cloth, mate. I've managed to get my tailoring up to. Let me tell you. Let me have a look. So I can make bags for us now, mate. I've got my tailoring up to 185, and I decided to go with enchanting, which was 185. And the only reason I did that was when I was tailoring, I noticed that I'd be able to disenchant some of the things I was making.
Yeah.
So I was kind of raising them hand in hand. And then, of course, I started making a shed ton of money on the enchanting items. There was one idiot. Oh man, it was driving me mad, Ben. Oh, let me tell you about this, right? There was someone who obviously is on to the silk cloth thing, and he was putting up silk cloth at like 15 silver or something. So that's quite cheap, yeah? But he was putting them on as individual cloth. Seriously, I must have sat there for 45 minutes, mate, buying it as fast as he was putting it on, getting a stack of 20, which was costing me sort of like however much that is, and literally quadrupling the amount of money I was making because someone else was buying my stacks. I'll be honest, I think I could have done it all night, but it was that boring, even I couldn't carry on, and trust me, I can grind in any game. But even that was too much for me, man. Yeah, it was quite amusing. But yeah, I've got all this gold, mate, and to be quite honest, it's a little bit like GTA now. I ain't really got anything to spend it on.
Or you will when it comes to some rare items at a high level.
Yeah, but most of the stuff's bind on pickup, isn't it? So, you know, the really good stuff.
Yeah.
You know, WoW always built their game around that. If you're up for an instance, dude, give me a shout. Oh, Ben, another thing, right? You know, after you left yesterday, I probably did about 6 instance runs.
Yeah.
Massive difference in the way you tank to the way that all the other tanks are doing it. And it doesn't mean that you're doing it wrong, but this is the difference. And it might explain why people kept telling us to crack on with it, even though we think we're doing it quick. What they're doing is, they're rushing into a room, and they literally go and one tap every single mob in the whole room, then run to the middle of the room, and the DPS just AoEs them down. That was the only difference that I could foresee, but every single tank that I played with in the runs after you weren't in it was doing the same thing, mate. Now, I don't know whether you have to look at the makeup of the party, because 9 times out of 10 there was a mage. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Always, that seemed to be the common denominator, was a mage, and all I ever saw was just these constant rains of, like, I don't know, meteor storm or whatever the hell it's called. So yeah, rather than like doing one mob DPSing it down, go to the next mob DPSing it down, they'd literally just aggro fucking everything in sight. It makes my job an absolute nightmare, trust me, because the amount of damage they could take in a short space of time, sometimes I can't keep up with it. And I did lose, we did have 1 wipe as a result, and I did apologise for that. It wasn't actually my fault because I fucked up. I got stun locked, mate. I got like a 3-second stun and then another one literally like 2 seconds after I'd come out of that one. It just wasn't enough time to get a spell on the tank. So I did have to apologise for that, and everyone was very nice. I sort of fessed up, my bad. Got stud locked, nothing I could do.
Alright.
Cracking game though.
Invite me to a party. No, I love this game,
Yeah,
it's brilliant.
yeah.
I just need a quick break from it, especially my mum's.
Yeah, you sounded like you'd really had enough yesterday, mate. It's really hard, though, isn't it? Especially if you're playing as like the tank, or I suppose, you know, any class that's got a specific role. If you've got stuff going on in the background, it's you just ain't got time to be taking it all in, have you?
Yeah, my two stepbrothers both had their girlfriends round and they were sat in the kitchen just talking so loud. And then my mum was clearing out the conservatory, which is right next to me, getting all the young cats taking down the skip. And I was literally sat in between both of them, both the groups, so I was just like, I can't take this.
Yeah, it sounds pretty manic, dude. If you want, I can show you this silk cloth place. If you do get any silk cloth though, mate, I will happily buy it off you. Because now, although I've made my cash...
I just sold all my silk cloth.
Yeah, I desperately... I need 60... I think I've worked out I need... Is it 60 or 80? Oh, shut up. 60 or 80 stacks of bolts of silk. And I think it's 4 silk cloth for 1 bolt. So I need like 40 odd stacks, which is what the guy was doing yesterday. So it kind of all started making sense. He must have been at the same point in advancement on tailoring that I was at.
I've got a new shield and helmet, but I really prefer the way my other ones look.
Oh, I've got something for you actually, mate. It's not major, but it is. Let me have a quick look. It's something called... I can get you braces enchanted with +3 strength or +3 stamina, dude. Which might not sound like a lot, but it's percentage-wise, it's a nice little chunk.
Yeah.
And obviously that's at low level.
Pretty cool.
Be able to get better stuff, you know. If I can get through this block I've got on, because I've got loads of mage weave. Whatever instances we've been running, because I've not sold any of my cloth at all. Whatever instances we were running, we must have been picking up some mage weave cloth.
I need to pick up some big slotted bags.
I can make. Let me have a quick. Oh, what's into my mouse? What can I make bag wise? The biggest bag I can currently make is a 10 slot bag.
That's a lot bigger than the ones I've got.
But I do need, for each one I need 3 bolts of silk and 2 heavy leather. Now I can make the bolts of silk cloth, but I need 4 silk cloth to make each one, if that makes sense to you. So basically 12 silk cloth with 2 leather would be enough.
Where are you now, anyway?
So I'm in this place called Blackhoof Village, farming for silk cloth.
Is that all you're going to be doing?
Well, just when you're not here, mate, I just pop into an instance sort of like once every hour or so. I've just done Scholarmance. Oh, and that's another thing, Ben, I'll tell you what, there's something not right with how either I remember this game or how they've changed it. I've just done my first ever Scholarmance run, which I remember as being an awesome, awesome instance, and it is. But where you killed what appeared to be the last boss, as I recall, there's 4 rooms off it, or at least 3 rooms off it, and we didn't have to do them. And I seem to recall they were 3 of the hardest parts of that instance. And it's the same with Scarlet Monastery. You know, we were saying something just doesn't seem to add up with it.
I think it's the Alliance that can do the Scarlet Monastery, we remember.
But that wouldn't make sense with Scholarmance, mate.
That's and everything, isn't it, Scarlet Monastery?
Yeah, yeah, that's right, mate, yeah.
And the courtyard.
It's a fantastic instance.
And, no, that's just not Scarlet Monastery, whatever we did, it's not.
There's chunks missing. There's definitely chunks missing. Now, presumably there is a way to do it, and we just don't know how the game's evolved. Because, I mean, they wouldn't get rid of it. I mean, Christ almighty.
If If only there was a quick way of getting to level